Hi, my name is Kishari Morrison, and for my final project presentation, I will be discussing a conflict that occurred on season 14 of Grey's Anatomy. For my final paper, I chose to write about a conflict that occurs on medical drama TV series Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is a fictional series around doctors of the Grace Sloan Memorial Hospital who must deal with life or death encounters on a daily basis. The main character, Meredith Grey, starts off as an intern in the beginning seasons and later evolves into an award-winning general surgeon. Grey also plays as a daughter of a famous surgeon, Ellis Grey, who is now deceased. Both Meredith and Ellis are recipients of the Harper Avery Award, a prestigious accolade created by physician Harper Avery for surgeons performing at the highest level. In season 14, when conflict occurs, we find Meredith working on a revolutionary research idea that could help save and improve many lives. In order to develop her research, Meredith needs a polymer, one that belongs to a former hospital employee and a strained friend of her mother, Ellis Grey, Marie Cerrone. To Meredith's surprise, she learns from Marie that Meredith's mother, Ellis, published work the two of them had worked on together in their years of practicing medicine, but Cerrone did not receive any of the credit. Meredith later learns this is because Cerrone was blacklisted after she had made sexual allegations against physician Harper Avery, which would later compromise their eligibility for the Harper Avery Award. This led Ellis Grey to publish what's known as the Ellis Grey Method, which earned her her second Harper Avery Award. As a result, Cerrone ended her relationship with Ellis Grey, moved away, and stopped practicing medicine. Now she holds the polymer needed for Meredith's research, so as you would expect, she gives Meredith an ultimatum. To acknowledge Cerrone's contribution, Cerrone asks Meredith to announce publicly the truth behind her mother's legacy and requests that the procedure be renamed the Grey-Cerrone Method. If Meredith refuses, she won't allow Meredith to license the polymer. Instead, she threatens to use the polymer and publish Meredith's research as her own. As a closing stage tactic, our textbook warns against delivering ultimatums, unless you are actually willing to end negotiations and walk away. If the other party delivers an ultimatum that does not meet your needs, the author suggests you do not accept it. Meredith refuses to undo her mother's legacy without being able to hear her mother's side of it. Marie then decided to use her resources to fully develop Meredith's research herself. Now that we understand the conflict that occurred, let's briefly discuss its relationship to the following areas. That is, personality and behavior, communication, conflict management, the negotiation process, leadership, and ethics, and a Christ-centered worldview. Machiavellianism measures the extent of one's willingness to place self-interest above all other interests. A high level of Machiavellianism is related to manipulative and deceptive behavior. In this conflict, Cerrone demonstrates this facet of personality when she decides to steal Meredith's research and justify her actions. Her approach to the situation is highly competitive, as she is mostly interested in personal gain. Meredith's ability to remain calm and collected while having her research stolen from her demonstrates high emotional stability. When she is confronted with this unexpected news from Cerrone, she attempts to understand the reasoning behind Marie's offer before deciding to walk away. Throughout their negotiation, Meredith demonstrates effective listening. She does this by quietly listening and then seeking new information through probing. Despite being thrown in the middle of Cerrone and her mother's conflict, she does not behave in an offensive or rude manner. Marie does very well herself at remaining calm in this situation. Her body language, however, appears intimidating and aggressive because of her intense staring and firm stance. By the end of their negotiation, Meredith stands still with her arms crossed, which is an indication of a closed or defensive attitude. In resolving conflict, changing the other person is unlikely to work. Our textbook suggests you focus on the other person's perception, opinions, and behaviors. Meredith does very well at trying to shift Cerrone's perspective from being a victim in the situation involving her mother. She asks at some point in their negotiation whether Cerrone ever thought that she had given her mother, Ellis, too much power. She asks this because Cerrone stopped practicing medicine, something she loved to do as a result of her mother's actions. This strategy helps Cerrone to strengthen her locus of control in the current conflict, but backfires on Meredith. Meredith realizes the conflict between her mother and Cerrone has created destructive conflict between Cerrone and herself. Considering the unwanted results, she aims to resolve her conflict with Cerrone. According to the text, resolving conflict is the best course of action when behaviors are destructive. Getting to a resolution will enable them to function more effectively. Therefore, it must be resolved in this manner. In the preparation stage of negotiation, Cerrone demonstrates her ability to analyze and make decisions, in that she ensured there was time to prep toward executing her approach to the conflict, which is how she came up with her ultimatum. She established trust in the introductory stage, in that she acted as if her and Ellis Gray never had an issue, leading Meredith to believe she would ultimately give her the polymer. Meredith demonstrates leadership skills in her ability to assert herself. Assertiveness is necessary to influence and persuade others, which are both essential in the conflict management and negotiation process. While Cerrone's actions may seem deceptive, she too demonstrates leadership skill in her ability to analyze information and make decisions. She was careful to consider how helping Meredith with her research could benefit herself as well. With that in mind, she did not fully commit to allowing Meredith to license her polymer until she thought over it, which led her to make the first offer in their negotiation. Analyzing the nature of the conflict is essential to executing your strategy. The preparation stage of the negotiation process elaborates on the benefit of analyzing the nature of the conflict when there are feelings of inadequacy and time pressure. Meredith was persistent about confirming the validity behind Cerrone's accusations about her mother. She hoped that Cerrone's allegations were not true, but she did not want her mother's actions to go unaddressed, considering that Cerrone deserved credit for her contributions. Being impartial and having compassion and empathy for Cerrone in regard to her and her mother's conflict, despite now having conflict with Cerrone herself, is the kind of empathy Christ wants us to have towards those who come against us or go against us. While Meredith could have appeared insensitive, she gave Cerrone the respect she deserved. Although she could not fully trust her word without hearing her mother's side, she did not deny the possibility of these accusations. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I am eager to hear all of your guys' feedback so that I can incorporate those suggestions in my final paper.